Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in the last video we have seen how to set up the layout and how to set up the tile map, and also we have seen how to set the character frames and its movements. Right, in this video we'll try to set up the layout, so it's complete blank as of now. Let's build the platform, and we can work on the background, then we can work on adding enemies and then rewards like coins or something like that, and then at the last we can add the reward for completing the level. Right, so as of now let's complete the platform setup. Alright, so height, we don't need this much of height, so it's 1080, so I'll change the height to 1080. Okay, also let's add a background. Instead of white, let's make it blue. Okay, this one is okay. We shall change the background later, but for now let's build the tile. So I drew a platform, I just drew a platform for myself to see how to set this up, so I'm going to use that as a reference to build this one. Okay, so tile map, we need to extend this further to the end. Okay, so I'm planning to build 4 to 5 levels, so this would be the first level, and let's make it as simple as possible so that the first level you you try to implement the mechanics and everything, user will get used to how to do it, how to play the game. So let's try to make it as simple as possible. So I'll go to tile map, let's change the platform view. I'll select the pencil button. Okay, let's increase the size of it a bit. Now I'm doing this just not to have any gap when I make it full screen at the bottom of the screen, so you don't need to see the gap if you extend it further, right? So let's add one more. Let's make this path a little lower so that we can place an enemy over here. Okay, okay, so here we will place an enemy later. right? So we shall end this here. Okay, so let's try this out. Okay, so this height is sufficient for our player to jump, right? Fine, this is fine. So now you must have noticed when I move the player or hero left to right, the screen doesn't move along with him, right? So for that you will need to add another behavior called scroll to, right? Also I forgot to mention in the last video I have removed bound to layout thinking that there was a lag because of that, but actually I found out that the game is running very smooth once I stopped the recording. So probably my laptop, because my laptop is too old, probably it was not able to take the RAM or what do you call it, take the load to process it smoothly. Okay, now let's try this out. Right, you can see the camera is moving along with the hero. Right, so here we'll place an emulator. All right. Also I believe the hero speed is very low, so let's increase the speed to 500. Let's set the jump strength to 700. Let's try it again. Okay, this is much better. Okay, this is much better. So the reason this person is standing on screen because I have added a bound to layout behavior. Let's remove that, we don't need it. Okay, let's save this one. We have a gap here. I'm not sure how to fix this one. Alright, we can check that later. Let's quickly complete the level. Once we construct the level, we can think of rest of the things. Okay, so this is done. Now because I removed the bound to layout behavior, okay, now he falls down, right? Also you must have noticed when I was once I jumped and landed on the surface, he doesn't move. I mean he doesn't go to the walking frames, right? For that let's add one more condition here. Is on floor, so which means when the hero is on floor, the walking frames should be enabled, and also the keyboard should not be on pressed. It should be when key is down, when the arrow key is down, which means it continuously runs this event. So as long as you press down the keyboard, press down the right key, this event runs. So whereas on key pressed it's only for one time. Okay, let's try it out. See, now it's working fine. When I jump, now it is coming back to walking frames. Done. Okay, this is fine. So once the once the hero is out of the layout, we can make a event for that to restart the layout or take them back to the home screen, right? So we have an option. We have a behavior actually that whenever the user steps out of the layout, the character will be destroyed. Okay, so also we'll have to add a event. So hero on destroyed, restart layout. So basically when the user moves out of the layout, the player dies, and as soon as the player dies, we'll restart the game. So which means they will play from the beginning. So we can also set up few checkpoints, but we shall do that later. Also you can notice there is a white blank at the bottom of the screen. So let's fill that as well so that we don't see that again, right? So he was destroyed, he moved out of layout and he was destroyed, and we play from the beginning, right? So this is fine. Okay, now we fill this part. Let's try this one, whether this might work. Okay, this looks much better, but we have a gap over here. There should be a proper tile for this one. Let's see. Okay. Okay, not this one. This is suiting well, but however we are getting a gap at the bottom. This should not happen. Okay, let's find out the right one. I guess this is the one. Okay, cool. Yeah, we found it. Right, now it looks much better, right? So okay, we have a gap over here. We don't have a gap here, but not sure why we see a gap here. Anyways, we'll check that out later. Okay, now it's much better, much better, right? So here we'll be adding an emulator. Okay, the jump height is also good. So when we fall out of layout, the player will be destroyed and taken to the starting of the layout. Okay, now let's quickly construct the layout. So I wanted to show you step by step. If you want to fast forward, it's up to you, but wanted to take some time, build things slowly, so that later on you don't need to work on the fixes again. Okay, we don't need this here. Let's see if the position of this platform is sufficient. Oops, it's not sufficient. We need to put it much closer. Okay. Right, so every time keep on testing, keep on trying what you have built, so that you can save a lot of time later. So once you're done building a platform and you test it later, you might find you might need to change a lot of things and it will cost you a lot of time. Okay, let's see. Okay, cool, this is sufficient. So this is 3 blocks away. Let's position it much higher and much higher. Okay, perfect. So I would like to place one more platform much higher to this one. Okay, right. Okay, right, we shall end it here. Okay, cool. So let's place this one. Okay, so oops, I'm sorry. So the user comes over here and moves away from the enemy and jumps over here, and this is how they will move on, right? So they will jump towards here. So this is just to make them get used to the game and its mechanics. So once you build multiple levels, they will know what to do when you set up a challenge for them, right? So let's keep the level as simple as possible. I mean the first level as simple as possible. Okay, so I'll set up a platform here. Right, so jump over here and then I did something wrong. I guess this is the one, right? Oh, this one is giving us some gap. All right, maybe I'll have to report this to the designer. Maybe he will be able to look into this or help me whether I'm implementing it in a proper way or not. Okay, so we're going to place one more enemy here. Right, okay, we need to increase the size of the layout. We have given 10,000, let's give it to 20,000. Okay, let's see whether okay, so let's see whether the game is the video is recording. Last time, okay, fine. So last time I recorded off the video, I mean a complete game for around 1.5 hours, and later I noticed that only after 30 minutes of recording it stopped, and again I had to re-record everything from scratch. But it's very difficult once I already built the game, and removing everything and rebuilding everything, it's very tough thing. Alright, so now we know that the video is being recorded. We can continue forward safely. Okay, so here I wanted to set up one platform which moves left and right. So let's lock this one, lock here as well. Wait, let's try it out before we continue further. Otherwise we might be in trouble if we don't test it at the initial stages. Okay, this is fine. Okay, cool. Right, it went well. I will create a layout called sprites. Import a sprite. Right, here it is. So we would be requiring this one. Yeah, we would need this one, but it is in tile setup. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's import frames as a strip. So the number of horizontal cells is 4 and vertical cells is 1, and so it will split the image into grid and split the image into frames. So if you, based on the dimensions you provide, it will build the grid and cut the images into different frames, and direction would be in horizontal. No, direction is vertical. Let's see. Oops, no, not this way. I guess direction should be horizontal, not vertical. One second. And horizontal, replace entire animation. Yes, it should not cut this way. One second, let me try again. I'm doing something wrong. Floating platforms. Okay, let's keep vertical cells as 4. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is what I need. Let's delete these two. Height 512 pixel. We don't need that much of size. So let's set it to 200. I think this one would be sufficient. We don't need the other one. Let's try them. Yeah, I guess this is sufficient. We don't need the other one. Okay, this is fine. This one is sufficient. I'm deleting the other one, or else let's keep it. So in animation, I will set the speed to 0 and repeat count as 0. Otherwise, because it has speed of 5, it will move to the next frame. So in order to eradicate that, you need to set the speed to 0. Okay, let's erase this one, increase the size of the eraser, not this much size. Okay, this one looks good, and also let's reduce the height furthermore. Okay, this is perfect. Okay, now we'll have to add a behavior to it called shine behavior. So it moves the platform periodically, like left to right or top to bottom, right? So you can also preview it to see how it works. So let's try to keep the shine behavior or any kind of movements as low as possible. So it reads as it reads lot of RAM, it might slow down the performance of your game. Okay, so let's increase the, so this movement is not sufficient, so if you increase the period, let's see what happens. Okay, magnitude, okay, magnitude should be high, period should be low. Okay, okay, I think this would be sufficient, or we can make it much slower. If you increase the shine period, it becomes much slower. Okay, we don't need the preview anymore, we'll set much closer to it. Okay, this is fine. Okay, okay, let's continue building the rest of the game. So here I would like to introduce a new enemy. So there is a enemy called poisonous plant which splits some poison. So I would like to place at the bottom of the screen so that user has the chance to stand here, and when it stops splitting can move to the next to the right hand side, right? So I'm slowly introducing one enemy at a time, so that in the coming levels they will be able to recognize all the enemies and what to do based on the game complexity. Okay, I will set this to much higher position so that it will be easy for us to set up the plant at the top of the screen. Okay. Okay, let's quickly complete the rest of the game. Okay, let me check. We are still recording. Yes, fine. Oops. Alright, I hope you are able to follow what we are doing here. If you still have any questions, you can comment, or you can also reach out to me on my email or my Discord server, which I will be adding them in the description. Alright, so we are almost done. So once you build the level, it's much easier for you to complete the game. So setting up the enemies, moving them in order is not a big deal once you have the platform ready. Okay, so if you notice this one, it's too higher for the hero to jump. So the reason I have set up too high is we have a element or an object called flower jump or plant jump or something. It will give the extra boost when you step on it. Okay, so I'm going to introduce a new element, so that is why I have set up this one. So again on top I will be placing plant 1 here, plant 2 here, plant 3, plant 4 here. Alright, so let's make it as big as possible. So the platform size, oops, oh god. Okay, so plant 1, plant 2, plant 3, plant 4. Okay, let's make it furthermore. I guess this would be sufficient. Alright, done. Cool. I doubt this will be sufficient. Once, let's try this one once again. Let's preview it so that we don't have any issues later. Or else I will increase the magnitude to 110. It will go much closer. Alright, I think this is fine. This is fine. Okay, this is fine. Alright, so we are almost done. So this is the ending position where, this is the end of the layout. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is where game will close. So once you come to here, you will have the option, you'll get the thing which you required, to complete the level. So I'm going to set up some kind of power or something. If you want to have a different thing, it's up to you, but I would like to set up a power so that he's a wizard, right? So I want to make a story, so he's going to acquire his power back by completing his level. So that's the plan. So here, once you reach the position, you will get the power back and you can continue to the next level. Oh god, 1 second. Alright, so we need to close this one here. Okay, we shall end the game here. So I'm just closing it just in case if the camera moves to further right, you don't need to see anything, or else you can reduce the size of the layout as well, that's fine. Or else I'll do that. Instead of increasing the size of it is better I reduce the layout size. Okay, let's set it as 18,500. Okay, fine. Okay, so this is the layout. Let's try it and see if everything goes smooth. I see bit lag over here, maybe it's because of video recording. Okay, going well. Oh, we see a lot of lag here. Oops, I'm sorry. I have to set this to solid. I forgot to set this to solid. 1 second. Yeah, I'll disable this one. Behaviors, so you need to add the behavior as solid. Okay, also I see a lot of lag in the recording or in the game itself, so we can remove the lag. Okay, so We can remove the lag for the things which doesn't require collisions. Collisions in the sense, so the game engine will check for collisions. So if I click on this one, you will see an option set as enable collisions. So if this is set, this will enable the collision. That means it will check for any possible collisions from other solids, right? So if this is not on the screen, this is not visible to the player. So for example, the game is here and the sprite doesn't require the collision to be enabled, so it will reduce some of the RAM, so it doesn't need to check for collisions. So you can reduce that a bit. So once it comes to the screen, you can enable the collisions, right? So let's do that. So if sprite is on screen, set sprite collisions enabled. Okay, so if it is not on screen, disable it. Okay, let's see if we can do for tile map as well. Okay, we don't have the option for tile maps. I guess tile doesn't require this option. Yeah, okay, fine, not a problem. So let's rename the sprite to moving platform. Okay, okay, now game is much smoother. Oops. So here we'll be placing the plant, which allows the users to jump further and goes to takes them to the platform, I mean the upper platform, and they can reach to the end of the level and acquire the power. Okay, so I would like to rename this platformer to Mantrikudu. Okay, so it's just that wizard in my language, so I speak Telugu, so it's my mother tongue, and Mantrikudu which means wizard. So I thought I can use my mother tongue to rename the game. Also, I found this platform is too far away. Let's make it much simpler for the user. So it's a first level, right? So it is better we make it much simpler. Otherwise, if it is too difficult, users might leave the game. Okay. So the first layout, it is always better to keep it much simpler, so that they don't get frustrated in the initial stage and can continue with the game. It should not be too much of challenging for them. Okay, all right. Right, cool. This is very easy to develop, right? So I'll be exporting this game and I'll set it in on my itch.io page. So this is the page. I have already set up the game, and you can see the first video here. So you can follow me on it, and you can try out the game yourself from here, right? So if you want to support me, you can support me as well, but it's completely up to you. And I'll be setting up the source code later. So I would like to develop the backgrounds, set up the enemies. So once I'm done with the level 1, I will set up the source code here. I'll give the link in the description. You can come to this page, try out the game yourself by running it online. Alright, so that's it for this video. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.